everyone. My name is Allison Connor, and I'm going to be presenting my critical task. I thought it would make it more personal if I was in the screen recording, so hello. Um, the student that I had the privilege of doing this evaluation for is 10 years old. He is in fourth grade. He goes to Wilmington Area Elementary School, which is the same school that I went to, and he is a male. So now I'm going to talk about the testing environment. So for the purposes of this, I'm going to be referring to him as Peter because I don't want to use his real name for confidentiality reasons. So Peter lives like next door to me. So he was able to come over and I was able to test him in my living room. And we put two like TV trays together so he would have something to work on. And since this was in my living room, it was quiet at first because it was just me and him. He was sitting across from me, and my mom was in another room. But later on in the night, my other family members started coming home, so there was some noise and some possible distractions. I also have a dog, and he came and welcomed Peter. But despite those factors, I think Peter did a very nice job with focusing and staying on task despite those. So his behavior during the assessment, at first, he was trying really hard. He was super interested. At the beginning, he said multiple times, he's like, I just want to get the right answer. But as the test went on, he lost focus and I could tell that he was guessing after a while because he just wanted to be done. So the results from this evaluation, I'm going to go over the raw scores for this, and the raw scores are the numbers right here with the little asterisks by them. And how you get the raw scores are you take the ceiling item, which is right here, minus the number of errors. And to go back, the ceiling score is where they topped off. So it's like the last question that they got. The number of errors, you subtract that, and then that gets you your raw score. So for this test, there was there were 10 categories that he was tested under. So for numeration, his raw score was 28, algebra 19, geometry 27, measurement 18, data analysis and probability 18, mental computation and estimation 18, addition and subtraction 15, multiplication and division 7, foundations of problem solving 16, and applied problem solving 20. So the reason why we calculated the raw scores is to get the scale scores, which is on the screen right now. And the scale scores, and you'll see later, go onto a graph, which then tells you what area they are in for that category. So, for example, numeration was a 7, which means he was in below average range. Algebra 6, below average. Geometry 8, below average. Measurement 4, well below average. Data analysis and probability, below average. Mental computation and estimation 5, below average. Addition and subtraction 3, well below average. Multiplication and division 4, well below average. Foundations of problem solving 6, which is below average. And applied problem solving 6, which is below average. So Peter was in between the below average and the well below average for this entire evaluation. So while this is loading, I just wanted to say that I had to make another video because the time limit is only 5 minutes. So like I was saying in the last video, Peter was in the below average to well below average in every category. And here you can see the graph which shows his scale scores, and then in turn shows what category he falls in, or what range he falls in. So as you can see, here is numeration, which is one of the highest categories that he scored in. And you follow it down here, and it falls between the below average range. And then his second highest was geometry. So if you follow it down here, it's right on the below average range. And then for well below average, an example would be addition and subtraction. You follow it down and you can tell that he is in the well below average range. Move myself again. So like I mentioned, his highest scoring categories were numeration and geometry, and his lowest scoring categories or category was addition and subtraction. His academic strengths that I saw from this is he really wanted to do his best. He really wanted to try, which was fantastic. And then also he shows strengths in the numeration and geometry category. His weaknesses, like I've mentioned in the earlier slides, he started to guess and wanted to be done, which could be part of the reason why he got some of the low scores that he did. But again, I don't know if that's the real reason. Could have something to do with it. And then obviously his weakest categories were addition and subtraction, as you saw from the graph, that he was well below average in both of those categories. So now I'm going to go over his SMART goals. I wanted to include these in here so I can say what I think his goal should be. So, given 10 two-digit addition problems with regrouping, Peter will answer 8 out of 10 problems correctly by the end of the year. I chose all of these because they align with the lowest categories, which was addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and they align with the problems that I saw that he got incorrect most of the time. So for addition, it was two-digit problems with regrouping where he had to carry over. And then given 10 two-digit subtraction problems with borrowing, Peter will answer 8 out of 10 problems correctly by the end of the year. Again, this was another example problem that he missed quite frequently. So it was a subtraction problem, and he would have to borrow into the next column. And then the last one, I said, given 10 one-digit multiplication problems, Peter will answer 8 out of 10 problems correctly by the end of the year. This is just like 1 times 5, 6 times 8, 9 times 7. I would focus this goal more towards like multiplying by 6, 7s, 8s, 9s, because I noticed through this evaluation that he was struggling with just one digit, but it was like in multiplying by 6, 7, 8, and 9s. And then I also said by the end of the year, because I know that students are behind due to COVID. And so with this, it gives him more of a time to get caught up and more of a time to reach these goals. And that is the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it.